here today with the amazing Lo Bosworth, who is a stellar entrepreneur, the founder of the feminine hygiene company, Love Wellness, which I'm so excited for you to talk to us about today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Also a huge television personality from the Hills and Laguna Beach, so there's so much to talk about. It's awesome. Very, very cool. So first and foremost, we are going to take look at your questions, and we are going to talk about them live and in person. So here we go.
I'm ready.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
I think this is actually only the second Facebook Live I've ever done.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's an adventure. It's a whole new world.
Yeah.
So
I'm
awesome.
like, hi, what do I do?
Awesome. Okay. So what is the biggest lesson you've learned in terms of heartbreak? This is a question from Rachel Borowicz.
Sure. So this is funny and well-timed. I just started rewatching Sex and the City of all things. Super basic, hello. From season 1, episode 1, because I follow this Instagram account, Every Outfit on Sex and the City. And I was like, I have to start watching it again. And in season 1, the way that Mr. Big treats Carrie is just like so classic, typical guy who is unavailable. And I have dated so many guys like that.
Me too. Okay.
You know, like, they don't take you out on proper dates.
Nope.
They just, like, meet you at the club, or they text you to come over, and they don't text or call when they say that they will. They're like, I'll text you later, and then, like, 4 days later you hear from them. Or they're seeing all these other women at the same time. I mean, there are the classic signs, right? And so, you know, I feel like to avoid heartbreak, you have to avoid those kinds of people. But often I feel like it's those kind of people that you have like the most magnetic energy with.
Yeah.
You know? But I think it's because it's about the chase. You know, like if the chase is there, like, that's why you're so into them, right?
Yeah.
But as I've gotten a little bit older, I'm 30 now.
Super young. Very young. I just want to go on the record and say.
It's wild though for me to be 30. As I've gotten older, I have realized that honesty and kindness and the ability to communicate well and be straightforward with somebody are some of like the most important qualities you should look for in somebody to avoid said heartbreak.
Yeah.
And like my boyfriend now is that kind of person, and he's wonderful, and I've never been happier.
That's awesome. And do you feel like you had to go through those Mr. Bigs in order to really appreciate like the honest, what real love is? Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
You have to learn the Mr. Big lesson so many times. I don't know why that is.
I know. What is that?
But
Why
you
do you
just
like these Mr. Bigs? I don't get it.
There's just like this je ne sais quoi. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows?
But thank you, Rachel Borowicz, for asking that question.
Yeah.
So, Rachel asks again, do you still keep in touch with Elsie or Kristen from Laguna Beach?
Yeah. Lauren is in my group of friends, the group of friends that I've had since childhood. I don't think they're going anywhere. I haven't seen or spoken to Kristen or anybody else, to be honest with you, except for Stephanie Pratt. She lives in London. We chat sometimes. She's a sweetheart. But no, I haven't seen or spoken to Kristen in a while, but I wish her the absolute best. I know that she has like a bunch of kiddos running around.
Wow.
And yeah, you know, she grew up right up the street from me, and so, you know, definitely wish her the best.
Awesome. And so what was that, I know that's a question on here, what was that whole experience like of doing reality television? I mean, and I know this is a question too, is it scripted or is it really, is it produced or?
Doing reality television is really not, it's not very real at all. But I feel like most people know that at this point. I feel like we're so many years into like the creation of reality TV that now the viewer understands that a lot of it is produced and people are put into situations to create uncomfortable situations and to create drama. But when we were on TV, that was really kind of the genesis of it. And the seasons, we hadn't really learned those lessons yet.
Yeah.
And so, we still had the wool over our eyes, so to speak, and we would go about filming happily, and then we would watch the season, and we'd be like, I didn't do that, or I didn't feel that way, or we don't have beef, like this is totally made up. And so it's really just like being an actor, just like having an acting job. You get a call sheet, you get a time and a place where to be, and you go back and you do your job, and you can't go home until the director gets what he wants.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I mean, do you think it's like a trend that has seen its most popular days, or do you feel like it's something that's here to stay?
I think it's here to stay, but I think the quality of television in this particular genre will never really get back to like when America's Next Top Model was first on, or when what's the design show that Heidi when Project Runway was first on, or when the Hills or Laguna Beach was still on. It felt so genuine at that point, and now it's just like Real Housewives of Trash USA. And I don't think it'll ever sort of get back to what it was unless somebody does something that is completely groundbreaking again in the space. But I mean, I think that you could look to documentary filmmaking and television and consider that to be in some way under like the reality genre, and find really great content there.
It's awesome. It's so exciting. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears. So a question comes in. Hey Lo, what inspired you to start Love Wellness? Was it a specific moment that made you want to turn the idea into a reality?
Oh, thanks for asking.
Thanks, Bethany Heinrich.
Thanks, Bethany. So I launched Love Wellness in mid-October of this year. It's a new feminine care line, and our products are all natural and doctor recommended, and they address the most common issues and irritations that women face, and our goal is to fix the underlying causes of all of those things also. And so for me, I started the company honestly to help myself first, and then to help all these other women that had similar problems to me. When I came into my 20s, my vagina and I just were at odds. I don't know why it happened. In college, I had a boyfriend who I was like literally like allergic to. That's a real thing.
Oh my gosh.
You can be like allergic to
What if it's your
somebody's
soulmate?
semen. The doctor told me. It's real. You can Google it. This is
Did
real
you
shit.
That's a good excuse.
We dated for a while, but like my skin would like peel. Like it was so awful.
Oh my gosh.
And honestly, I think it was that relationship that started me down like the difficult road.
Was he a Mr. Big?
Kind of. At first. Then he got nicer. It took a while though. It took like a year and a half for him to go from like Mr. Big status to like, okay, like I actually like you.
Aiden.
Yeah, exactly. And then I dumped him. Sorry. But yeah, it was very particular for me. I struggled with like recurrent infections, and saw so many different doctors, and a lot of times like by the 4th or 5th time the doctor would just throw their hands up in the air and be like, sorry, like this is just the way that you are. And for me that was never a good enough answer. And so I sought out some really incredible specialists who finally sort of showed me the light or led me down the path to enlightenment, and that was by turning to products that are natural, not full of chemicals, not from the drugstore, and making a real effort to change your diet, to eat lots of vegetables, to be honest with you. Try to avoid dairy, try to avoid carbohydrates, gluten, and getting enough sleep and exercise. Like really, all of those things together, just taking care of the entire picture can have a huge impact on the way that the organs in your body function, including your vagina. But for me, really, it was like taking health into my own hands and really doing something about it. That was alternative, at least a couple of years ago. Like using natural products. Like who would have used boric acid suppositories for a yeast infection? prescribed me that, and it worked better than anything else. Like, been problem free ever since then. So we sell that. We have a product called the Killer because I thought it was funny. And we sell boric acid suppositories, and they are like the best relief of yeast infections and BV like available. And some people kind of raise an eyebrow because boric acid has some other uses, but in this instance, it just works miracles. And I have gotten hundreds of emails since starting the company from people who have purchased this product, and they're like, thank you so much. I have finally found something that is helping me, that is like changing what I've been dealing with for years and years and years. And so to get that feedback has been really, really powerful.
I think it's amazing. And it's just so great to like start, totally, and to start that conversation that, you know, I would say like 5 years ago. Yeah, that used to be, and you're making it not embarrassing. And I think it's so important. I know there's a question on here about the increase in STDs going on too, and I think it's, you know, I think it's really important for a woman in college, especially, to start really thinking about, okay, like I really need to be careful, take every, you know, precaution that I can, and to know about things like folic acid and all that stuff, you know.
You know, for some reason, I don't know why, but I don't think that like my generation and people a little bit younger than me, sort of people maybe 10 years plus or minus me, I don't really think that we're like the Condom Generation. I like have to be honest about that. A lot of sexual encounters that I have had and know about, like that's not really like brought up or a thing, and I think it directly correlates to like the crazy rise in chlamydia and syphilis. We've been reading about it, all of these things. I think that condoms became really important when HIV was introduced, and it was like so terrifying for people. And I just think that there's less fear involved now, and it really is a shame because you can put your health at risk in such a dramatic fashion by not doing something as simple as using a condom. You know, if you have chlamydia for like a year, it can really affect your health long term, and same with all of these other STDs. And so I think, you know, first of all, being brave enough to face yourself and being like, I have to take better care of myself. I have to go to the doctor. I have to, you know, ask a guy, be brave enough to, you know, put my foot down and be like, we're going to use a condom. I think all those things are really important.
I think girls get so scared, you know, to put their foot down. You know, and it's like, we shouldn't be.
We shouldn't be.
It's like our health, it's our body.
We shouldn't be. And I mean, when I've been in situations and have like said that, always the response is, oh my god, yes, of course. You know, but for some reason people's first instinct is like, I don't know.
Well, I'm so glad that you started this company. I think it's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
So let's see here. Okay, Sandy Scott asks, what has been the most difficult obstacle to tackle in working towards your goals, and how did you overcome this?
Sure, that's a good question. I think I am my own worst enemy, to be honest with you. I think for most people that's probably the case. My thoughts, my insecurities, my laziness sometimes. I have been my own biggest problem, to be honest with you. I really do think that's the case for most people. You know, I think if you have enough confidence to go after what you really want to do, you can do anything. If you're feeling insecure about something, is really when you face roadblocks, right? It's kind of like looking at your checking account. You're like, you have that checking account fear. You like don't want to log in.
You're like, I have to face.
And so you and so you just don't do it. And so I feel like a lot of people have fears about themselves when it comes to their careers or the way they want to live their life, and it prevents them from actually going out and doing it. But I don't know, you just kind of have to have moments of like, can I say bad words on here?
Yes, say them all you want. No filter, unfiltered opinions.
Okay. or like fuck my brain and my internal monologue. Like, I have to get moving.
Yeah.
I am amazing. I am smart. I can do all of these things. And once you start thinking in that way, then the obstacles tend to just kind of fall apart.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that's so refreshing to hear because, you know, I'm sure there are a lot of women out there who, you know, really look up to you and think, oh my gosh, you must never have a bad day. And I think it's important to remember, I feel like, that we're all human, you know, and we all have these moments of doubt and searching, and, you know, everyone just has to keep centering, finding that center, you know, and trusting themselves.
Absolutely.
So that's refreshing to hear, you know, and I'm sure that's inspiring to so many young women.
Yeah, I mean, just like being a human is totally normal. There are days where I like sit in my apartment and I don't do anything and I feel so guilty about it. I'm like, oh my god, I stayed inside all day.
We all do that. Pajama bottoms are wonderful.
I know they are.
I love pajama bottoms. Yeah, so I think that's awesome. Okay. So let's see here. How do you go about managing your time, cultivating your projects while also taking care of yourself? So like work-life balance. And this is from Thandy Scott as well.
Thandy, another good question.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the answer for this one can even tie into that previous answer. The answer is, for me personally, I tend to be really motivated and driven in spurts, and then I have moments of like extreme laziness or avoidance. So I'll have 4 days where I'm just like head down, working from 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. And then I have days where I just feel like, ooh, like I don't want to do anything. And I've learned that that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think it's important to stop.
It's important to stop sometimes. And it's in those moments where I'm like, oh my god, I haven't done my laundry all week, or like my house is a mess, or like, oh my god, I need to throw the ball more for my dog. You know what I mean? And so for me, to be honest, I'm not somebody that is really good at balancing everything all of the time.
Yeah.
And I've gotten this far and, you know, done okay. So I think it's okay. You know, I think it's okay to not be perfect at everything all of the time. As long as you get it done eventually within a reasonable, respectful amount of time, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I think expecting perfection is just, it's like a problem that I have, and it's never gotten me anywhere good. And so just becoming satisfied with like who I really am, I think is kind of like the best way that you can manage yourself, manage your health, manage all those things.
Definitely. Well, I think that's great advice for sure. It can be
kind of an unexpected answer, right?
It's great. No, I feel like it's just so exhausting to be like perfect, and you know, it's important, I think, to rejuvenate and take that time, you know, to turn off in order to propel forward.
Especially in New York, everyone in New York feels really like has a lot of pride in their packed schedules. They like have a lot of pride in that. They're like, I have, you know, I'm working, and then I have this drink, and then I have this meeting, then I have to do this and this and this, and it's like 6 days in a row every single week. And I'm like, oh my god, like,
so tired.
Holy shit, take a nap.
Take a nap. Take a siesta.
Right?
Have a cracker.
That's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. It's not realistic. And the people that I know that actually live that way hate themselves. Like, eat a cracker.
I know. I wonder if they ever like just binge watch anything like under the covers.
I don't know why though. In New York, like people take such pride in their like insane schedules. I'm so the opposite of that. I'm like, I'll take my dog for a walk on the West Side Highway. Like, I'm totally fine.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. No, it's amazing how you can feel guilty if your like Google Calendar is like not all different colors,
right?
And you're like, wait, I need to fill out this white space.
Exactly. It's like,
but we should embrace the white space.
Right. Like hanging out in this city is unacceptable. It's just like not okay. You always have to be doing something.
I know.
And I hate it.
And it's like, why? Okay. Well, I think that was great advice. Okay, let's see here. Lady Luck asks something very already talked about, so I'm gonna skip that. Sorry. We'll never know what Lady Luck
Never
does.
mind, sorry.
Okay. Let's see. What are the biggest pressures of being famous?
Well, I don't think that I'm that famous.
Well, people on here definitely do, for sure.
I will say that I'm definitely a known person, but famous is not really a term that I subscribe to myself. In fact, it makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not famous.
You're like, hold on, guys.
Yeah, exactly. There have been ups and downs to being in the public eye.
Yeah.
The ups definitely are career related. Like, we're sitting here having this conversation because I was on television. I've been able to create a brand and a career out of that. Just being myself, which is incredibly fortunate. And the downsides are, for me personally, also that people know who I am. It makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
A lot of famous people don't feel that way. I think they crave the attention. It feeds a hunger for them. For me, it makes me feel really uncomfortable. Especially, a few years ago when I was more well known. I would go shopping and I would be, in stores, and I could tell that people were looking at me and talking about me, and it would be so severely uncomfortable for me, probably for most people.
Yeah.
Any person, when you realize you're being talked about, you're like, oh fuck, why are those strangers or whoever talking about me? Or at a party, why is that girl talking about me? I felt that every day for so many years, just being out in the world, and it's just not a very nice feeling.
Yeah.
And so I have some social anxiety
From it? Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And emotionally there's just still some stuff that I'm working through. You know what I mean? Just the idea that a total stranger can pass judgment on you is something that's difficult to kind of wrap your head around. And in this age of technology and Twitter and the internet and all of these things, it's right in front of your face all the time, whether you like it or not. You can't filter out all the mean things that people say about you. People say nice stuff, but you can't filter out the bad stuff. And back when I was first on TV, in 2005, before all of this crazy internet stuff existed, when I was in college, kids would literally yell at me and call me names when I walked down the street.
That's awful.
So
it's bullying times 1,000.
Exactly. So that was the bullying of 2005, literally yelling at a 17-year-old girl who's walking down the street, calling her a bitch for no reason. And now in 2016, it's just about internet bullying, and so it's different. So that's the stuff that I've struggled with, that I'm sure most people have struggled with.
Do you feel this is a question that was on here, would you ever go back into the public eye, or do you feel your long-term goals exist more separate from television?
Right. I mean, it's something that I ask myself a lot, I think that for me, career-wise, I have enough opportunity and enough experience and years doing what I've been doing that I wouldn't necessarily need to be on TV again. Being on television again wouldn't fill me personally. I wouldn't get any personal satisfaction from it. I would only do it to further enhance my job, my career. And I think that most people on TV probably feel that way at this point. I don't know a lot of people on TV that are just going on TV to be on TV, unless they're on a funny dating show or something. People have wisened up, and there's a reason why you go into it now. It's because you have something to sell, or you have a brand to push, or something. And with Love Wellness, a big reason why I started that company was so that I have a secondary way to sustain myself. And outside of like the initial press that we did and like are doing right now for the business, I don't really have an interest in being like the face of the business. I want the brand to be able to stand on its own because we've made great products, and to be able to just focus on that and have it just be what it is.
Yeah.
And so, you know, for me, it's important to have something like that in my life that's separate from the lowdown, that's separate from, you know, my Instagram and like the public stuff about me.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, which of those projects is so amazing that you are so versatile? You know, what do you feel is like your biggest passion where you can really see being your long-term focus?
Yeah. You know, for me, I have always loved to cook. Like loved to cook. I went to the French Culinary Institute in New York City after I went to UCLA. So I'm educated. I've done a lot of schooling.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I loved going to school.
Yeah.
I love to cook, and as I get older, I'm more and more focused on my health. So wellness comes into that, and so I think like the ultimate goal would be to be like a trifecta of like cooking, fitness, and health.
Yeah.
In some capacity.
Yeah.
Those are really the things that I care about, that I know a lot about, that I want to share with the world.
I think that's amazing.
Thanks.
And so I know we're running pretty short on time. So how can people get the products for Love Wellness?
Well, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is go to lovewellness.co. It's .co, not .com. And everything is available for purchase there, and everything will also be available for purchase soon on Amazon if you like love Amazon, which I do.
Yep.
And so everything's online, and then we're talking about going into retail for next year.
Oh, cool.
So we'll see if that happens, fingers crossed, but everything's available online. It's really easy. The products have great descriptions, so if you have an issue or you just want to take better care of yourself, check it out.
I think it's amazing. Well, we can't thank you enough for being here today.
Thanks.
You're such a superstar and an all-around inspiration.
Oh,
so,
thanks. That's very
a
sweet.
true mogul.
Oh, thanks.
So thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's so nice to be a part of the community.
It's so fun.
Bye. Bye, guys.